violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, I can still get shot by the police. I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, YouTube? It's a Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's get into the video.
Only on 6, neighbors in one New Orleans East neighborhood are concerned over violence coming from a nearby apartment complex. They say bullets are coming into their homes. WDSU's Aubrey Killian is live there right now to show us how all this violence is happening. Aubrey, I know you spoke with one woman who actually had a bullet fly right through her bedroom window. Had to be scary.
Travers, it was absolutely scary. So I want to walk you through how neighbors say this is all unfolding. They say the bullets are coming from this apartment complex. People.
And those guys are what they call the trenches of the community, okay? Them boys down there in New Orleans, they ain't playing. They are at war right now. They're at war right now. And I told you we're in a generation of ops where random black men are trying to create this enemy in their peers, okay? And that's how you get the ops culture. Everybody has ops now, okay? Everybody has ops now. Everybody talking about their ops. Everybody saying you the ops, you from the ops. Like, everybody is creating ops either online, in their schools, in their neighborhoods, whatever. Everybody wants to have ops nowadays, and this is the result.
People are shooting. The bullets go over the water and into their homes.
The crime is everywhere, but New Orleans East is just like a war zone right now.
This woman, who we are not identifying, says this bullet blasted through her window July 4th.
That's just the scary part about it. Like, even though I know it wasn't a target, but I mean, it's senseless pretty much. Like, could have been a senseless killing.
She says she called 911.
It's the next morning. I haven't received a call and nobody never came out.
And
well, I mean, defund the police, and we know for a fact this sister was saying, yeah, defund the police. Yeah, go ahead and defund the police. This is what happens.
Her neighbor says this gunfire won't stop.
Woo.
He recorded this video Sunday night.
Gunfire, 3, 4 nights out of the week, 20 rounds in a row. 10 minutes later, 20 more rounds. And it's dangerous.
He is constantly finding bullets on his property, so he's leaving New Orleans for good.
I'm not even letting one of my kids sleep in his room because his room is actually facing the apartments.
Wow.
So he no longer sleeps in that room.
People who live at...
I mean, shout out to this father for protecting his kids. They completely just cut off a whole room. I mean, there's plenty of opportunities out here. These dudes just want to get into shootouts. It's ridiculous, man. These super gremlins are on demon time.
At this apartment complex also say they too are tired of the gunfire.
It's not safe. Like, I'm scared for my life.
And all of a sudden I hear boop, 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 boop. Then it sounds like an assault rifle, boop, 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 boop. Like they just shooting at each other by the water. I went to the office, I've talked to them.
I went to the office.
What is the leasing office going to do? They can't do any. I mean, they're afraid for their lives.
Looking for answers. They wouldn't talk on camera and directed me to their corporate office.
Thank you for calling the Lynn Company.
I called multiple times and got no response.
We are currently unavailable to take your call.
And people here say if something doesn't change soon, someone will get killed.
The bullet went through my neighbor's window.
And I'm pretty sure somebody has already been killed. That's here today and gone tomorrow. We know that happens every day in the community. But You know, they're going to blame everybody. They're going to blame the police. They're going to blame the leasing office. They're going to blame all these different entities, when in all actuality, they're going to skirt the blame for these super gremlins on demon time.
And it's just that when I saw where the hole was in the window, that's the head height of my job. And it's just time to do something. Can't wait to get out of this.
Good evening, I'm Sharice Gibson. With the surge of violent crime across New Orleans, ripple effects are being felt in neighborhoods where people once had a sense of security. Imagine bullets just ripping through the walls of your home. Well, that's what's happening in one community. And as Mike McDaniel explains, some neighbors now say they're just packing up and leaving.
And this is everywhere in New Orleans. New Orleans has the highest murder rate per capita. Okay? So we all want to say, oh, who's the baddest city? Whose city got the most killers? I mean, per capita, it looks like New Orleans is taking the bait so far this year.
It's tonight's top story.
And then it hit the cabinet right here, still there. Indentation still here.
When a bullet came through Juan Cordero's dining room window, close to hitting his granddaughter, the safety he once felt in his Spring Lake neighborhood went out the window.
Dang, and y'all wonder why there's white flight. It's not, let me tell you, it's not just glider flight, okay? It's not just the gliders taking flight. It's everybody who got some damn sense. Y'all wonder why they gentrify these disenfranchised area? This is why. Because they're trying to stop the bloodshed and clean the streets up. And you guys are going to continue to cry about gentrification and white flight and all this stuff. People are trying to live peacefully, not just survive in what the brother or the sister previously described as a war zone. These super gremlins are on demon time.
I'm like, what is going on? Why is this going through my window?
Cordero has lived in his New Orleans East home for 20 years and points to at least 2 nearby apartment complexes, which he says creates problems for neighborhoods like his stuck between them.
Previously, we had someone that had gotten shot by a gate right here, coming from the apartment complex. There's some neighbors that have moved out of the neighborhood.
Outside his back door, separated by a wooden fence, is Lakewood Point Apartments, which is where he believes that bullet came from. Just down the I-10 service road is Willow's Apartments.
It's an eyesore and it's a menace to the community.
Where this neighbor, who didn't want to be identified, says she's been dealing with crime since moving to the neighborhood 5 years ago.
I had an incident where, the crime is trickling over to my property, where a guy tried to kick in my door because of an incident that happened that originated in an apartment complex.
What kind of guy? What kind of guy? And we all know, even with the voice masking technology, that was a sister. And she's about fed up. She's wondering where the protection for black women is. Well, you defunded them.
That was 2 weeks ago when police found 2 men shot to death on Lawrence Road next to the apartment complex. About 12 hours later, another man was shot and killed.
There were also shootings back in March and May, and according to police records, there were multiple shootings last year with at least 1 death, all of them on this street. How often do you hear gunshots out here?
Every night. I hear it every night.
This neighbor says city leaders need to hold apartment complex owners accountable and worries about safety in her Lake Willow neighborhood.
I don't want to move, but at this point, we just want to live better.
Mike McDaniel, Eyewitness News.
Well, Eyewitness News did reach out to both apartment complexes, but we have not heard back. Both are owned by separate out-of-state property management companies.
I'm here on the corner of MLK and Frederick Douglass, where a shooting just took place. And as you can see, it's a pretty rough area. So I'm basically risking my life reporting on this madness. So make sure you do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. Like the video, hell, share the video. And make sure you go ahead and leave a comment down in the comments section to continue the discussion on how we can find solutions to all this son violence in the streets. I'm Jenquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia, BGZM News 17.
City Council leaders say they feel like they're screaming into the void when it comes to crime and safety. On the Eyewitness Morning News, you just saw there, our Eric Paulson sat down with City Council President Helena Moreno and Vice President J.P. Morrell, who say they have solutions, but the mayor's office and NOPD are failing to implement them. Well, today, Lily Cummings brought their statements to City Hall for a response.
We feel like we're screaming from the rooftops. And it's like a wall. It's like screaming into a void, screaming at a wall.
And this is what irks me, man. Obviously, those were two glider voices. They're the only ones who really care about the crime issue. They're the only ones who really think there is a crime issue. Like, when you look at the city council meetings that we've already looked at through New Orleans, and you see when they're having discussions on how to solve crime and how to help the police and give them more support so that they're able to do their jobs and what to look for to stay safe. You don't see anybody from the community in those city council meetings. You don't. That's just the reality.
What's keeping things from getting better? The New Orleans City Council president and vice president say it's a lack of action from the top.
First, the leadership of the city has to admit that there's a problem.
You're talking about the mayor's office.
Yes, and we're also talking about the
Latoya, where you at? Where is she at? Didn't she just say that she wanted to protect black women? She literally said that when that sister was taken out in the streets, shot by her thugged out boyfriend. Latoya is nowhere to be found on this. They're screaming to high heaven. They're screaming from the mountaintops, on the rooftops, like this woman so eloquently stated, and seems like Latoya is a no-show on this.
The leadership of the NOPD as well. This is a crisis.
Council President Helena Moreno says that right now, New Orleans is #1 per capita in murders across the U.S. Vice President J.P. Morrell says the council has worked on solutions. They passed a $1 million initiative to increase police recruitment, but
the administration will not sign the MOU to start the increased recruitment.
Told you, because they can't reverse track. They already defunded and redistributed. I had somebody in my comment section saying, oh, you're so stupid because defund wasn't about taking away the funds. It was about redistributing. Bro, that's all defund was about. Take away the funds and redistribute to programs. Yeah, we get it. Except the programs have already been there and they never worked.
What we've seen time and time again is the council will come up with solutions. We passed a multi-point crime plan in February and put it out there and said, here's the crime plan. And both the mayor and police chief said, not necessary, we have our own plan.
Wow. So the mayor, and I was trying to give the police chief, some leeway on that, and they rejected the crime plan. Why? Because it was going to target disenfranchised, marginalized super gremlins on demon time.
Council members say other solutions have fallen flat, such as private companies that would respond to non-injury traffic accidents instead of police.
The city council is willing to increase the money spent toward these types of on-site services to respond to accidents. The problem is we can't seem to get the city to put out a contract.
Morrell says his frustration climbed over the weekend when NOPD officers were pulled to the French Quarter and CBD to cover Essence Fest.
There is a obsession in the city with being obsessed with appearances. It's the same reason why the administration keeps downplaying crime, because
of course they had Essence Fest in New Orleans, risking the lives of the people who support the Essence magazine and the Essence brand, which is who? Black women. So you have the Essence Fest in New Orleans. You risk the lives of countless of black women, and Latoya Cantrell continues to say that she is for black women and trying to protect black women. It just doesn't look like it. It doesn't appear that that is what she is trying to do.
They want to make sure that the nation doesn't see the city having a crime problem, even though the residents that are here obviously know that's true.
So what does the mayor's office have to say about all of this?
I mean, even the mayor has ops. Remember, she got in a fight a couple weeks ago in that bathroom. I told you guys about the ops culture. It's not just brothers who are involved in this. I mean, sisters too. You know? So, of course, she doesn't want to come down hard on the community because she's just as guilty.
Her office says that some of the statements made by the two council members are untrue and that safety is her #1 priority. Lily Cummings, Eyewitness News.
And as Lily just mentioned, we're still waiting to hear from the mayor's office to get back with us on an official statement to those comments.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
Guess what? I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.